So hey, my name is Greg Poblete. I'm a music writer with Mixdown Music, and today I'm talking with the brilliant Matthew Murphy, aka Murph from the Wombats. Yeah, how are you, and where are you currently in the world?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me. And I am in Bethnal Green in London right now. Yeah, we had like a warm-up show last night before our kind of arena tour here kicks off on Tuesday.
That's exciting. How are you feeling about the current tour right now?
Good. There's still a bit of like work to be done. Um, and it's all quite last minute, but yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I'm slightly apprehensive, but I always feel a bit that way, especially before a bunch of big shows. Yeah,
Yeah, and especially like playing a new album too. I feel like it's like, it's a lot of new things, so it's like kind of seeing how the crowd is receptive to that and everything.
yeah, and it's like, well, how many new songs should we do? It's
Yeah.
like essentially we're touring to promote, a new album, so we should probably be playing it. But also, it's like, well, there's going to be a lot of the crowd who know one song from the new album, if that. And yeah, so finding that balance is going to be an ongoing process, probably.
Yeah, well, that's very exciting. But yeah, first off, I want to say, congrats on the new album of the Ocean. It's amazing. I love it. It's very upbeat, colorful, but at the same time, it's very poignant and real. What was the process of like writing these new songs, and how did making this album differ from past albums?
Uh, the writing process was kind of the way it's always been, I guess, like kind of write 40, 50 songs and pick the best ones. Maybe it was slightly different because the last solo album I did was my first kind of like sober album. And I felt like I was able to open the doors into new territories that I wasn't able to go to before. Um, so this album it certainly felt very different making it. Um, and there's a lot of grappling with everyday life and whatever the hell life is going on in the album, I think. And then the recording of it was totally different. We used a different producer. Mark Cruz done the last three Wombats albums and the last two Love, Fame, Tragedy albums. And I think we all kind of felt that not that taking a risk was going to be less risky than doing the same thing again. So yeah, we recorded with John, and it was a much different process, a lot more live than the last few albums. And he refused to listen to any demos, and every song started with me kind of singing it on an acoustic guitar or a keyboard or a piano from start to finish, and then building and replacing on top of that. Yeah, so it's pretty different and has a slightly more, I think, unique organic sound to it because of that approach.
Yeah, and I definitely feel that whenever I listen to the album, I feel like it's very open and freeing and just has this like new thing that like I feel like the Wombats haven't really discovered before. So
Yeah.
yeah. From a lyrical standpoint, I know the album is very self-reflective and honest. Like, how does it feel having these personal songs finally out in the world for fans to hear?
Well, yeah, it feels like they're not personal anymore, I guess. But no, I've never really had a problem kind of um, wearing my heart on my sleeve and feeling comfortable with releasing it. Although my wife, sometimes pisses my wife off, to be honest. Um, Especially the Kate Moss song.
Yeah.
She was like, "Fuck, why did you have to do that?" Like she said, "Can you please stop doing this?" And I was like, "Probably not."
I mean, good storytelling is good storytelling, so you can't hide that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't let my personal relationships get in the way of good art.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, and you're also a songwriter who's also not afraid of being like self-critical in your lyrics, like, am I insufferable or, my head is not my friend. Like, is there ever a moment in writing when you feel like you've gotten like too far, you've like dug too deep?
like I've dug too deep, like into myself or into
Yeah.
um no, no, not really. I mean, as long as I can find a new way of saying something I've said before, I'm happy with that.
Mm.
Um, it does get, just by the quantity of songs that I'm writing, sometimes I'll be like, oh God, can I face singing about how much of a prick I am again? But the answer is usually yes.
There's usually a new spin on it somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like recognizing like these like faults or like, pinpointing like root of your anxiety or anything has helped you become a better writer and overall creative artist?
Um, I think so. It was something I kind of realized early on. I think I wasn't, the first 40 songs I wrote, the lyrics were all very ambiguous. And then I remember listening to bands like Pulp, Blur, and whatever, and Elliott Smith, I guess, and just realizing that I can be brutally honest and sing about, day to day things. Um, and so that really kind of opened it up for me. I guess now what I enjoy is saying something very kind of brash and then juxtaposing that with a more ambiguous metaphor or something, so it's more digestible. Um, well, just primarily to myself as a listener when I'm listening back to it, but yeah, I kind of forgot what the question was and just thought then.
No,
Just
it's
gonna
all good.
off.
No, it's all good. I mean, yeah, just understanding like, like yourself as a writer, like after like, really deeply diving into, who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Um, but no, yeah, the one thing I also really love about the Wombats is that I mean you just said it right now, but like just juxtaposition where like you have these like very cheerful, very like big moments in like the instrumentals and then very like sad, very, introspective lyrics. Like, do you intentionally do that like with having driving bass lines and catchy choruses to like hide out all the sadness?
Um, yeah, I think so. I guess I like that happy, sad kind of playing off of both of those. And one thing that happened in the Wombats is we used to have a fourth member, and when he left the band, we replaced a lot of his guitar parts with harmon like Beach Boys harmonies, oohs and ahs, and that just automatically makes things sound joyful and happy, regardless of what the lyrical content's doing. So sometimes it's nice to make that as extreme as possible. Sometimes it's nice to just do a happy song, or sometimes it's nice to be like, let's keep this one on the sadder end of the spectrum.
I love that. One of my favorite songs off the new album too is I Love America and She Hates Me. How did the song come to be and like what do you think the importance of art during our political climate right now is? Yeah.
Um, it's really like it's not a kind of a political commentary, really. It's more just you know I feel 10 to 15% happier, you know, being a US resident than I did anywhere else. I just there's something warm about the people and everyone's supportive, and there's no tall poppy syndrome like we have in the UK where any success is to be shoved down and to almost not be encouraged, whereas over there it's been a really great place for me to move to, and I'm I'm happier and more creative there. And yeah, I don't know about art in the political climate. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't feel like raging against the machine is the right thing to do at this. It's like it's more like go touch some grass or turn the TV off or just get away from whatever's coming out of whoever's mouth. Because every, well, I read somewhere it's like now that everything's at our fingertips, that means that everything is in our face.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, we have access to all this information, but that means we're bombarded with it at the same time. And I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's definitely overwhelming. It's just like you can't really escape it. So it's like you kind of try to have to find ways to escape it. And I think art is a good way to escape for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, using it as kind of an escape hatch is what it's um, is is what I'm excited to see in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, yeah, now that you've, been in the US for a little bit, like has your perception of America changed and like what would you say like the most significant thing you've learned about living in the US has been?
Um, well, my it's just getting weirder and wilder and kind of more awesome to me. It's just a fucking ridiculous place. Um, there's no, I don't know. It's a very, I just think it's a ridiculous place full of characters, obviously full of very divided and full of different viewpoints. But I just want to get, I'm trying to get to a place where um, I'm receptive to all of them in a way. Um, I like ridiculous people and ridiculous things, and they all seem to dwell in the US of A.
I love that. It's kind of just like watching your own television show right before your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah. As a band, the Wombats, I know you guys experienced plenty of like ups and downs from concert mishaps to, resurgence of old music on TikTok blowing up. What's been like one of the most unexpected things you've experienced in your music career thus far?
Um, I mean, the TikTok thing was crazy, and was really kind of like a slap in the face to say, you know, the industry has shifted, and look how powerful social media and streaming is, and things like that. Which so it was really a call to engage more with that stuff, which we never did.
Yeah.
The idea of making TikToks and stuff makes me want to kind of blow my brains out, but um, yeah, there was that. I mean, after our third album, we were let go from Warner UK, and I took that as a that was quite a big blow to me, and I didn't really know what was going to do, but I just wrote a load more songs, and then it turned out that that album was bigger, more bountiful, more successful than the one that went before it, and um, yeah, I kind of thought everything was going to go sideways, but then everything just got bigger and better. So for me, that was the biggest shock, and again, another slap in the face to not be um, not be as pessimistic about the future as I was back then.
Yeah. I guess it just in the music career, you kind of just have to expect the unexpected pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, One thing I do want to ask about, I mean, I love the title of the new album, Oh, the Ocean, but one thing I'm always interested is like, what's the proper way to pronounce it? Is it kind of like a subtle surprise at seeing the ocean, or is it more of like a dramatic fit, a cursing, the ocean like in a soap opera?
Yeah, I think it's more. It's more like exclamation mark dot 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 the ocean,
Hmm.
but that wouldn't have looked too good. Yeah, it's more kind of surprise, like you're seeing it for the first time, or that you've never actually ingested the might and awe of something like that. I guess. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. What does the ocean represent to you, like at this point in your life right now?
Um, I mean, I had this kind of, what I would deem a spiritual experience when I was looking out at the Pacific one day, and that's where the album title came from. But I guess what was, I got sober 2.5 years ago, and to be honest, before that, I thought I knew everything, and and now 2.5 years in, I realize how little I know about anything. Um, and it kind of feels like the majority of us think we know a lot more than we actually do. And there's something freeing and magical about that. And I think that is kind of what is kind of pushing, guiding, encouraging my creativity so much. I think that's why the ocean was so kind of powerful, because I would go on, tour to Australia or Japan, and you see all these things, and yeah, it's cool, but you're kind of out there working. I don't know. It's like I was experiencing them, but I wasn't aware of quite how awesome they are.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I kind of feel like Alice has gone down the rabbit hole, and what's at
Mhm.
the bottom of the rabbit hole is very interesting.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, definitely like when I think of the ocean, like it's, such this like this massive thing and it kind of just makes you feel like almost significant, but in a like a very optimistic way. You're like, this all this stuff in life, it doesn't really have to have like some grand meaning. You're just kind of a
Yeah,
pebble.
I
Yeah.
like that. Insignificant in a very positive way is
Yeah.
a great way of putting it.
Yeah. I mean, aside from like music, what else inspired this or influenced the creation of the new album?
Um, I don't know really. I just kind of I don't even think about inspiration anymore. I kind of go to a studio and freak out until I've got something, and I go when I want to go, and I go when I don't want to go, and I kind of approach it with a whole like I don't know what's going to happen today. Something amazing might happen. Something awful might happen. I don't know. So I'm just going to put myself in those scenarios and see what happens down the line. Um, there's a great phrase I really like that some old songwriter said it, and he was like, he says, "Inspirations for amateurs." So I just kind of commit to being creative that day and seeing what happens. But obviously, if things are going shit, then you have to take a couple of weeks off. But there's no like there's no clear cut
Mhm.
inspiration. Although it would be easier if there was one for like media and stuff like this, but that it was very much like let's make another album. I guess one of my inspirations is to be in a band that gets to 9 or 10 albums. So I hope that's where we land.
Yeah. Well, I think you're on the right path for that. Yeah. Yeah. It definitely sounds like it's more of like a subconscious thing. Like your body kind of knows that it needs to make something. It just doesn't know exactly what it's gonna make yet. And then
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I'm kind of yeah. I feel fortunate that me as an individual and the us as a band kind of have a voice, and um, I don't I don't need to search for too much inspiration to keep it going.
Yeah. I love that. Um yeah, I know you touched on it a little bit, but how do you feel like the internet has changed the world of music and has there been like a big adjustment for like how, you guys release music nowadays?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's completely different to our first album that came out in 2007, and streaming was amazing for us, and now I don't really know what's feels like we're in some a similar world to like 2015, where it's between physical and streaming kicking off, and we're now between streaming and I don't know what the next thing is. Maybe just live gigs beamed directly to your head. I don't know what it is, but the internet has been yeah, a very powerful tool. I'm like, I don't, all the self marketing and stuff that happens nowadays and that our social media team kind of want us to do and stuff. I just can't get my head around it. It's just maybe I'm old now, but the idea of spending 2 hours filming myself doing stupid shit in the hope that one of them goes viral in order to sell records and tour is just insane to me. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Never say never.
Yeah,
But yeah, it has changed a lot. But I would say predominantly for the better.
I'm glad. Yeah, I feel like yeah, the internet has definitely changed a lot of things, but I don't know, it's more of like a matter of like how you embrace it rather than, kind of reject it because it's not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I only have a couple more, but yeah, it's been really fun talking. Looking back on your career, do you have any advice that you would give your past self, like the version of you when you first started the band? Like what would you say to him?
Um, take care of yourself more and do some fucking breathing exercises. Um, is what I would say, and um, to talk to that person and explain why his extreme cynicism is only kind of yeah just do some breathing exercises, take it easy, and think a bit more positively, I think. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, one of my favorite personal mottos. I was watching The Sopranos a lot, but whenever they say take it easy, like I took that as like a, life is kind of hard, so
Yeah.
be easier on yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I have one more question. I know the future as a whole kind of looks uncertain, but what do you still hope to accomplish with your time in the Wombats, and what do you feel is the most rewarding part about being able to make music?
um I feel like there's still more damage that I want to do in the States, to be honest. um so that's something that I kind of I'm focused on. um but really it's just yeah, I just want I want to get to that ninth or 10th album. That's kind of where my head's at. Um, yeah, just to have that body of work, you know, behind me would feel so cool. And I still think the most rewarding thing is when you do stumble across a good song, because it's like at least 6 or 7 songs go by before you get to one that's probably going to make the album. And I just love that feeling. And I remember after um, Can't Say No came together for this album, just like listening to it on repeat, and it's almost like it fills the void inside of me for about 3 weeks before it becomes a void again. Um, so I guess I'm addicted to that feeling, and I'm addicted to the kind of the search for where the next one's going to come from.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're right on the right path, to hitting those 9 or 10 albums. And yeah, but I'm just very excited for what the Wombats have in the future. And it was an honor talking to you today. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks.
Gregory.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, again, congrats on the album. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Cheers. You too.
Cool.
Thanks so
Okay.
much.
All right, take it easy.
Bye bye. Bye.